they are breaking the biases within their areas and spheres of influence, and of course also just hearing, you know, what works and what doesn't work in relation to breaking these biases that we are speaking to this afternoon. Following that, we will have a very interactive session where we will have a question and answer session just to hear your feedback, clarify any questions that you might be having about that. In between, we will take some short moments, a few minutes to do some quizzes, and that will be guided to us during that particular time. As I mentioned, I am moderating this with Lydia, who is the national coordinator of FAWE from Zimbabwe. So she will be picking up she'll be picking up a few sessions after this. So in the next few minutes now, I want to introduce to us the Executive Deputy Director of FAWE based here in Nairobi, that is Madam Teresa Omondi, to give us our opening remarks. Then we'll take up the program forward after her short presentation. Welcome, Madam Teresa.
Hello, I'll request the technical team to assist me to switch on my video. I'm not permitted to. Tandy or Stella, kindly assist me. Okay, trying again. Thanks. Now, finally, thank you, John. Good afternoon, good morning, happy Women's Day to everybody. Let me hear some responses. Let me see some more videos on. Please, I would like to see all the participants here who are celebrating this wonderful day. Yeah, thank you, Lydia. Can see from that end. Any more videos, or the participants cannot access the videos? Is it possible? Joan, is that possible? Stella, is it possible to have participants have their on?
Hi, Teresa.
Yes.
Unless we move them to, because we are disabled for one or two reasons. So for participants, we might not enable them to have video at this moment.
Great, so unfortunate that I can only see the sign interpreter, but I hope then the participants can see the sign language interpreter.
Teresa?
Yes?
I've seen a deaf person requesting if my video could be pinned, but I can see it has been pinned. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Okay, great. So at least if then they can be able to see the interpreter, then that's fine. So welcome to the FAWE webinar on this day, International Women's Day, where we are all celebrating and also at the same time looking back to evaluate what we are doing to break the bias when we are working with women and girls in the society. As you all know, FAWE is a Pan-African organization, membership organization that works with the girls in Africa to ensure that they enter school, remain in school, and transition to high levels of education as far as they can so that they may be better people in the society and be able to give back. So FAWE works in 34 national chapters in Africa. So I'm glad to see several of the participants from the different parts of Africa who are here with us. Unfortunately, we can't see each other via video, but I hope along the way, when we take a break, we can be able to correct that. And so that we are able to work together as the people who care about girls' education in Africa. So one of the things that I asked myself when I was joining this webinar was, what are the biases I myself have found myself involved in? And I know a lot of times we point a finger and say, those people, they are the people, they are not responding to the girls and women, but sometimes also a self-reflection. And I think that was why we have this theme of breaking the bias and having self-reflections amongst ourselves on when do you find yourself not having biases. And I know having biases is normal. It's a human thing. Like, it's also impossible that you'd be human and not have a bias. But it would be nice that today we also take that reflection and ask ourselves what have been the biases that we have practiced amongst ourselves, so that we may also be part of the people who are breaking the bias. So as far as we know, there's a lot that is preventing girls from entering school. Of course, after COVID-19, a lot of girls have been out of school because of either pregnancy or poverty-related issues. But we also know during this time, there's been a lot of exploitation, child labor, there's been forced marriages, that is child marriages. There has also been lack of employment, and where the employment is limited, women and girls faced more discrimination. We know also with COVID-19, it has also come with several other challenges. Homes have broken and so many children have been left either with one parent or single parent. So with COVID-19, we say everyone suffered, but girls and women suffered the most. And it's because of these discriminatory practices or culture or our social background that we are called today to address the concerns around breaking the biases. So I believe in this webinar today, we will share some of the biases we have practiced ourselves and give ourselves a promise that from today onwards, we'll try and be cautious, because some of them we do it subconsciously, and be cautious that we shall not do that again. But also then, as we call for other duty bearers or other policymakers to also break their biases. So I will be with you during the webinar, but at some point I'll have to drop out because we have to travel to Zanzibar, where we also have a meeting for the International Women's Day. But I'll stay in as long as possible and looking forward to hear most of the biases that we'll be discussing and the promises we'll be making to break the bias. Greetings from our regional executive director, Martha Muhwezi, who was not able to be here today with you, but she's with you in spirit, and looking forward to a very successful webinar. Thank you very much, Terry, and over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madam Teresa, for welcoming us, and of course, the warm remarks. We accept the greetings of the Executive Director, and tell her we are very safe on your hands, and we feel at FAWE this is the place to be. So thank you for that. We want to get ready now to present, to have a session with the panelists. But just before that, I will ask Stella to guide us on the Slido session or quiz. Then after that, Rydia will take over the session to moderate on the panelists and having that discussion. Then, as I mentioned, after that, we will move on to the question and answer, where we want to hear more from the panelists, and of course, try to capture as much as we can within the time that we have. Thank you. Stella, please take us through the next part. Stella, are you there?
Sorry, we were having a technical problem with the sound. Can you hear me now?
Yes, please go ahead, Stella.
Welcome, everybody. Because we've been in technology for the last 2 years, we want to have a session that is quite interactive. But because we can't all be have a chance to talk, we are going to use technology to communicate and get our views during the session. So what we will use is a program called Slido. I'll post the link onto the chat. So if you can go onto your chat, I've posted a link. click on the link. When you click on the link, you'll come to a poll, which is a FAWE poll. And just to test, I've launched it. And I want to know which part of Africa are you from? So if you are present, click on the link. You'll get I can see we have somebody joining us from Kenya. Click on the link and then you say where you're from, and let's see where we all are from. I'm going to share my screen. And I can see we have Uganda is winning. We have people from Nairobi, Kenya. We have Kenyans. We have someone from Machakos, Tanzania, Kisumu. I just want to know where everyone is joining us from. As soon as you click on the link, you will get a question. Which part of Africa are you joining us from? And let's see where everybody is from. If you're having trouble, so that's where we are from. I think the number that's larger is from Uganda. So we have most of our participants are joining us from Uganda, followed by Kenya and then Nairobi. I don't know if Kenya is in Nairobi is in Kenya or not. Welcome. I hope that I can see we have people from Senegal, Rwanda, Tanzania. I saw there were people from Ethiopia. I don't know why they've not logged in and registered. Maybe they're having a challenge. Zambia, we have someone from Zambia. Okay, more from Uganda. Gabon, welcome. Okay, I can see Libreville. Ethiopia. So we have good representation. Uganda, welcome. I think this is a Uganda meeting with people from everywhere else. But thank you for joining us all from Uganda. I know you have some big things happening this week. You're celebrating your 25th anniversary. So one more question. I'll close that poll and I will ask another question. And so the question I'm asking everybody is, which bias are you breaking today? So let me ask you the next question. Which bias are you breaking today? Personally. What have you been thinking about most? Okay, anyone? Oh, fewer women in leadership. Do you want fewer women or you want more? Workplace, unconscious bias, every barrier, decision making, gendered jobs. I'm sure by the end of this session, we will have about, I know we have over 60 participants, so we should have about 60 different opinions of what bias we are breaking. Oh, discrimination is big. Invisibility is also big. Yep. Pour les participants français, est-ce que, oui? Yes, for the French participants, I don't know whether you can type it in French. I would like to see some comments in French if possible. I've seen an interesting one, women disliking women, science, bias, education. Okay, so I think we've got a lot of different illegal salaries, So there's a lot of things that we can work on individually, and I'm glad to see that everybody has an opinion on what on something. They have picked something and they are working towards breaking that bias. So I'll hand over, I'll stop sharing my screen. I'll have these poll results at the end of the session, and I can share them. I think we'll probably put them on social media. Okay. All right, so I'll stop sharing my video and I'll stop sharing my screen, and I'll hand it back to Terry. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Stella, for that. And thank you everyone for your participation. Of course, the bias, I think we have been able to capture quite a lot, and we would be happy, as Stella mentioned, just to have a look at them at the last step of this particular webinar. Also, of course, exciting to see that Africa is congregating on a virtual platform this afternoon, celebrating the International Day of Women. So thank you so much, Stella, for that. That was as well an exciting way and an interactive way to just help us also get to participate effectively in this particular session. So as I mentioned earlier on, we have a lineup of panelists for us this afternoon, and we want to hear them speak to us about what they are doing in their own spheres of influence as far as various biases are concerned, as far as enhancing, of course, gender equality is concerned. And this session, we have about 6 of the panelists who are with us. And each one of them will get some couple of minutes to speak to us. The session, as I mentioned, will be moderated by Ms. Lydia, who is the National Chapter Coordinator of FAWE based in Zimbabwe. We will work closely together up to the very end. Then Kaidre, if you have any questions to any of the guest speakers, just make use of the chat as well, or note your question. And where possible, please let us know, or we would be able to know whom your question is directed to. That one will help us to move faster during the question and answer session. So Kaidre, pack all your questions, pack all your concerns. We have a whole session to unpack them and give the opportunity to the panelists to respond to them. Thank you so much, Lydia. Please take it up.
Thank you so much, Dr. Terry Kudugu. Today is International Women's Day, and I'm excited. I'm excited that we are in this platform, and that as FAWE, we are celebrating the International Women's Day. And as our theme for this year is saying, we want to break the biases. We are going to go into our session where we have a number of panelists just sharing with us what International Women's Day means to them. So I'll start off, it's a high-level panel. I'll start off with Professor Enala Mwase. I'm kindly requesting my colleagues from FAWE to just give me the profiles so that I go through the profiles of each of the 6 panelists. Stella, kindly assist.
Okay, we're just doing that.
So as we wait for Stella to give us the profiles, panelists, please stick to the 10 minutes that each of you has. We are just going to talk about what International Women's Day means to you and how you are breaking the biases in your sphere of influence. All right, so that we also stick to the time that we are allocated. As I wait for Stella, I will kindly request Professor Enala Mwase, who is the Zambia board representative, to just go ahead and start your presentation. Then probably after the end of your presentation, we'll be ready to also share the profiles. Professor Enala Mwase, the floor is yours.
Again, apologies for that. She wasn't a panelist, but we're making her panelist, so that she can talk.
All right.
Yeah.
That's technology for us. We continue to adapt. I'm also requesting the rest of the panelists, please just be ready. As soon as we finish our first presentation, again, we have your 10 minutes to give us your presentation.
John, please, could you help us to make Enala Mwase a panelist? We apologize for that.
Stella, we could actually have any of the 6 who is already a panelist. They may start if that is okay. Probably you can indicate anyone who is ready, who is already a panelist, then we can give them an opportunity to present.
Hello, this is Elizabeth. I'm a panelist. Are you hearing me?
Great, excellent. All right, Elizabeth, so as we try to sort ourselves out in terms of making each of the panelists able to come up and present, I would like to introduce Ms. Nakanjalo Elizabeth, who is a senior tutor and academic registrar at Njinja School of Nursing and Midwifery in Uganda. So over to you, Elizabeth. Yes. You have your 10 minutes to do your presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, Elizabeth Nakanjako. I'm the registrar at Jinja School of Nursing, and in Fawe, I work as the focal person for Fawe in Jinja School of Nursing. I've been in this position as a registrar for 2 years, and by government appointment, I'm a senior health tutor nursing. And I was requested to present the challenge of gender bias and how I've been able to act on it according to my position, because being a woman as a registrar of a school of almost 1,000 students, there are always biases. But I've been able to do that for the last 2 years, and I believe I've done it perfectly. There are a few things when I came to office that I looked at as a woman. Being a Christian woman, I believed in myself as a weak vessel, but a vessel may be weak, but inside it, it holds gold, it can hold diamond, It can hold anything precious. So I looked at what is inside the vessel, which is me. What do I have to offer? What do I have to carry? What can I do best? You can admire a vessel, but what is most precious is what is in the vessel. So I use that scripture that women are weaker vessels, but a vessel can carry precious things. And I always want to show the world which precious things I have at hand. I try to be focused on my work, no matter what, because in most cases, we always have diversions. We always have people looking down on you. Maybe you cannot do this. You are not maybe knowledgeable enough, but the best thing a woman can have is focus in life. As long as you have focus on a goal, you can meet it without even focusing on the diversions. You can focus on the positive diversions, but you leave out the negative one. And you prove the naysayers that I've done it and I've made it, because without focus, you cannot make it. I've been goal-oriented. I always write my goals for a month. I always say, I must do this, I must do this, I must do this, and people must see this. When you meet your goals, you beat those people who didn't know that you can do it. When you're not goal-oriented, it means you're not going to prove people out. You're not going to be admired, and you're not going to be looked upon. So it's most cases as women, we lose out that we set our goals, but we don't meet them. We always jump on bandwagons, and at the end of the day, we lose it out. There is nothing that can build a strong woman like good self-esteem. Wherever you go, wherever you be, you hold yourself important. Most of us always pull out the other part of weakness in us. You look down upon yourself. I cannot do it. No, if we have good self-esteem, we can be anywhere, we can do things better, and you can do good things in the world with your good self-esteem. People will even respect you. That one is a strong woman. That one is a focused woman. That one is a knowledgeable woman. It's because you built it, it's because you felt it, and it's because you move with it. And the knowledge part is very sweet. Why I call it sweet? Because everyone will want to hear what comes out of a person. Every time you talk sense, people will always say, well, I didn't know she can do that. I didn't know she can talk that. We should always try to look out for knowledge. We should always look out what people don't know. When you always come out with what people don't even expect you to know, but even a mere woman knows that. They always call us mere women. But I don't let people call me a mere woman. I always want people to say the woman is knowledgeable, and there is no way you can get knowledge without looking for it. Even from the beginning, I always refer to the Bible. It always tell us, he who doesn't have knowledge should ask God. If you can't ask God, at least look for it and have your knowledge at hand and make yourself up there. Talk what men talk. Do what men do. Even do it better or even best. That's when we have to put in more effort. Much as people don't want to hear that, you always have to have more effort to pull out the knowledgeable part, because you have to go an extra mile to get what people want to hear. And I do the extraordinary. When you look at Liz, is naturally a weak vessel. But when you expect me to have ran 10 kilometers, I do 100 kilometers. And I leave you at least a space to wonder, how did she do it? I expected her to be at a 10 kilometer race finishing line, but she's at 100 meters. We should learn as women to do what is extraordinary. What people feel is for us men. What people feel a woman can't do, get focused on it. Be bold enough to go for it and do the extraordinary. And lastly, you pray. Prayer is part of the journey. You pray for strength every day. You pray for focus every day. You pray God to give you the knowledge, to give you the strength to do all those things. And lastly, I think I refuse to listen to naysayers. And my saying, it's natural, I say it. One way to become a good failure is try to please everyone. Please those you can please, but be focused on what you have to do as long as it is right, as long as it benefits the people around you, as long as it is what you're called to do, and as long as it improves someone's knowledge, someone's life. Don't listen to naysayers. I think I'm a fast teacher. I think I didn't take the 10 minutes. I'm done.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Breaking the biases. I think we've heard quite a lot about what she's doing to break the biases. She talked about focusing on a goal. And once you focus on a goal, she talked about rating yourself to ensure that you meet the goal. She also talked about having good self-esteem. She went on to mention the importance of gaining knowledge, having knowledge, looking for wisdom. I liked it when she said, you have to go an extra mile. So thank you so much for all those words of wisdom. We are going to move on to our next panelist. I'm sure Professor Enala Mwase is now ready. Kindly confirm, Stella.
Yes, I'm ready.
Yes. Afternoon, Prof. Enala Mwase.
Good afternoon.
Yes. She's from the Zambia board. She's a representative of the board. We are going to give you your opportunity. We apologize for that slight delay, but we're going to give you this opportunity to go through your presentation. Over to you, Prof. Enala Mwase.
Thank you so much, Lydia. Good afternoon, everybody. First, I would like to thank you very much for inviting me to be part of the team to celebrate the 2022 International Women's Day. Happy Women's Day to all of us. As already said, my name is Enala Tembo Mwase. I'm an associate professor of veterinary parasitology, entomology in particular at the University of Zambia. Basically, I'm a research scientist and academician who has risen to the present position through hard work, I think. I believe it's through hard work. It was not a very easy journey at all as a woman who is a mother, a wife, and everything else that goes with a woman. During this journey, I think most of us have passed through widowship, have passed through divorce, and all sorts of things. For a long time, women have been faced with challenges in as far as choosing professions or careers is concerned. We are still faced with stereotype thinking in certain jobs or careers. But we thank God that now, with a lot of advocacy, things are changing, but slowly. We are now able to see women taking up careers and decision-making positions that were earlier considered to be those of our male counterparts. So commendations have to be made to organizations such as FAWE, which have made tremendous efforts to see that girls and women have equal access to education and that barriers are reduced to enable the woman take up professions or careers of their choice. I am at the University of Zambia, and during my time, there are almost no engineer women. We had no geologists. We had no mining engineers. We had no metallurgists. But now we have a few women getting into such careers. So I'm really happy with the organizations like FAWE and their chapters like FAWEZA, and our governments, which have been listening to some extent. Now, from an individual level, I'll share my experiences and values which have assisted me to get to where I am. So unfortunately, my profile has not been read, but maybe I can quickly go through that so that you know my background. Like I've said, I'm a scientist, and actually I specialized in biological sciences, and I became a lecturer at the University of Zambia. I grew through the levels of a lecturer, senior lecturer, and associate professor. I also had an opportunity to be the deputy vice chancellor of the largest university in Zambia, which is University of Zambia. So I was deputy vice chancellor for 7 years. I also acted as a vice chancellor for the same university for 1 year. So first, I would like to say that I have always considered myself as a human being with a special purpose in life. Meaning that what I want to achieve and I perceive it to be good, then I will have to go for it. I trained as a biologist, which I can easily consider as my passion. So I think whenever we go into careers, we make sure that we have a passion for that career. Because it doesn't make sense that you go into a career just to make it and show others that you are able to do it. You need to have a passion for it. And because of that, I saw it very early in my life that in order to rise as a biologist or a researcher, I need to get the necessary levels of qualifications. So in this case, it was not enough just to have a BSc. I needed to have masters, I needed to have a PhD. So I may call this as having a clear vision of where I wanted to be. So vision alone is not enough. As a woman, you need to understand the unfavorable environment we are operating in. This means that we need to be focused and find strategies that will minimize the distractions you may encounter when trying to achieve your vision or goal. One of the strategies is perseverance and the other determination. During this journey, an African setup can be a very big distraction. So an African setup can be a very big distraction. Our cultural values can be conflicting with your goals. For instance, in our setup here in Zambia, you have to be at all funerals. I don't know about Kenya, Uganda, Zimbabwe, Tanzania. You have to be at all weddings. You have to be at all family gatherings and so on. So in my journey, I had to do away with most of these obligations, unfortunately. And I was therefore considered as an antisocial or something close to that. I couldn't be at all funerals. I couldn't attend all weddings. I couldn't attend all meetings because as a scientist, you don't know Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and so on. You have to work all the time. One other strategy that I adopted to assist me go through the journey is to forget that I'm a woman when I'm amongst my male counterparts. This assisted me very much because I really got a lot of support from my male counterparts. In addition, I did not want to act as a lesser human being who needed to be assisted or felt sorry for because I'm a woman. I wanted to work hard, just like my male counterparts, without seeking any favors. Because I saw that the moment you start showing weak signs as a woman, seeking favors or to lower your standards, this starts working against you. You have to stand up. You qualified just like your male counterparts. You went through vigorous assessments to be promoted. You just don't have to lower your standards just because you are a female. And in my case, as I said, I did go into the highest 2 offices of the University of Zambia, where many times I would be maybe the only female and I would be the chair, or there could be 1 or 2 other females, but the majority would be males. And in such situations, I would forget completely that I'm a woman, and I would accept any criticism which came to me. And I would consider it not because I'm a woman and that's why I'm getting this criticism. No, I took it objectively. So in short, I think I tried very hard not to enter into conflicts with my male counterparts, but simply to work with them as human beings. And I don't know if I can call it that lucky, but I found my life very, very easier actually to go through with my tasks as Deputy Vice Chancellor and at one point Vice Chancellor. And I worked very well with my male counterparts. And another thing that I saw was, people would talk negativity and so on, but I played it deaf. I never allowed that, to affect my tasks as Deputy Vice Chancellor. I never allowed that to affect my tasks as an associate professor. So those are some of the things that I went through. So in short, at individual level, as a woman, let's first have a passion in what we are doing. Let's be determined. Let's persevere. Let us be strong and enthusiastic about our careers. And in that way, I feel we may individually and together break the gender bias that we are talking about. So with these few words, I just wish to thank all of you for listening. I'm sure I've done it in less than 10 minutes. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prof, for giving us such insightful information. I was just listening to you and I was saying, wow, wow. I just compared your presentation with the first presentation and I picked a few things. You talked about focus and our first presenter also talked about focus. You highlighted the strategies that you've used and I began to think through as you were talking about the role that comes with being a woman in an African setup, the expectations that society has and how that contributes to being a woman and trying to break the biases. Thank you so much. I hope all the participants are listening through. Keep your questions. We will have a time for question and answer. But if you feel you may forget the question, the chat box is available for us. Just type in your questions. We are co-presenting or co-moderating with my colleague, Dr. Terry Kigudu. Sorry, Terry, about that. I will just say Terry for now. So we are co-moderating and we are going to move on to our next panelist. Hoping she is ready. Miss Madam Hadija Fatoumata Binta Kita. If you're ready, please, you have the floor to present to us on this very important occasion of the International Women's Day 2022, Breaking the Bias. Over to you, ma'am.
Allô, bonjour. Moi, c'est Hadija Fatoumata Binta Keita. Je suis professeur de français. Je suis de Guinée-Conakry. Et aujourd'hui, je suis là dans le cadre d'une formation avec FAWE Guinée. Entendez, le forum des éducatrices africaines. Et je suis une participante à cet atelier, un atelier dont l'objectif est de faire un plaidoyer pour la prise en compte du genre dans les milieux scolaires. Je suis avec la présidente de ce projet ici, FAWE Guinée. Donc, et pour moi, le 8 mars, loin de ces festivités dans les palais, de ces de ces chants et danses dont nous les femmes avons l'habitude de faire. Ce 8 mars aujourd'hui a dépassé ce stade. Et aujourd'hui, vous voyez que nous sommes dans un atelier, par exemple. Nous sommes plus d'une cinquantaine de femmes qui participent à cet atelier et dont l'objectif est d'insérer la pédagogie, le genre dans la pédagogie de l'enseignement. Et ça, c'est extrêmement important. Parce que habituellement, on pense que pour parler genre, il faut parler des femmes mûres ou des femmes des zones rurales. Mais cette fois-ci, nous nous sommes concentrés sur l'éducation au niveau du milieu scolaire lui-même, parce que c'est là la base. Les fondements d'une société, c'est dans les écoles. C'est là que nous avons les jeunes, des jeunes qui devront prendre la relève de demain. Donc, le 8 mars, pour nous, c'est une journée d'échange, de partage d'expériences et pourquoi pas de transformation de nos connaissances que nous avions acquises, parce que bon nombre d'entre nous déjà avaient des difficultés de comprendre ce que c'est que le genre, ce que c'est que l'équité, ce que c'est que l'égalité. Et donc, réunis, imaginez une cinquantaine de femmes réunies en train de discuter, en train d'échanger, de partager leurs expériences. Ce sont là, à la fin, c'est sûr que nous ne partirons pas bredouilles. Chacun de nous va tirer profit de cet atelier. Et donc, le 8 mars, chez nous, aujourd'hui, à Conakry, ce sont des panels, ce sont des tables rondes, ce sont des séances de partage, d'expériences. Nous avons dépassé ces fêtes et autres là. Parce que nous estimons que lorsque vous prenez la femme rurale, par exemple, elle est loin des villes, elle est loin de toutes ces festivités, mais même si cette femme-là, je m'appesantis un peu sur ça parce que je connais un peu les zones rurales, si cette femme est éduquée, si elle est alphabétisée, elle est capable de maîtriser ses droits et de reconnaître qu'elle est une partie importante de la société et qu'elle peut jouer son rôle dans le développement de son pays. Lorsque nous prenons les femmes intellectuelles ou les femmes éducatrices que nous sommes, moi je suis professeur de français par exemple, mais il est rare, c'est d'ailleurs pour moi une première fois que je participe à un atelier qui parle de genre, d'équité, de droits de femmes, de droits de l'homme en général. Et donc ce sont des personnes, ce sont des groupes de personnes qui sont un peu marginalisées par rapport à toutes ces informations-là. Alors que nous gérons des entités très importantes, c'est-à-dire la jeunesse. Parce que l'école, c'est le fondement, c'est la base des sociétés. Et donc, si l'élève est instruit, si dans la tête de l'élève déjà, les mentalités changent, l'élève comprend qu'il soit garçon ou fille, parce que lorsqu'on parle de genre, on ne doit pas spécifier, on ne doit pas seulement se focaliser sur un seul genre, sur un seul sexe. Si ces élèves-là comprennent que le fait de reconnaître à l'autre son droit va aider toute la communauté à s'émanciper, je pense que c'est le plus important, c'est le rôle de la femme avant tout, c'est d'aider donc les jeunes à reconnaître que chacun d'entre nous dans la société a des droits, a des devoirs, et donc si chacun se met à sa place, ou que si chacun peut aider son prochain à valoriser ses compétences, à porter ses spécificités comme des valeurs. Nous pensons que c'est une société qui va se fonder déjà sur la justice. Et donc, c'est une société où l'injustice sociale ne régnera plus. C'est très important pour nous. Et donc, moi, en tant qu'éducatrice, je pense que le 8 mars, c'est une occasion pour moi. J'en parlais tout de suite à une de mes copines, que normalement, dans les écoles, ça devrait être aussi des espaces d'échange, des lieux de formation pour les élèves. Ça ne devrait pas être seulement des femmes qui se rapportent dans les palais ou bien dans d'autres salles pour échanger. Ça devrait aussi intéresser la jeune fille qui se trouve à l'école le 8 mars pour qu'elle puisse comprendre. Pour qu'elle puisse comprendre, par exemple, que le 8 mars, ce n'est pas seulement pour sa maman.
All right, thank you. Stella, please help us. We have lost
je disais donc que le 8 mars ne devrait pas seulement être une fête des mères, parce que c'est cette tendance-là qu'on a, c'est aussi une fête pour les jeunes, surtout les jeunes filles qui doivent apprendre. Et celles-ci doivent donc apprendre que le 8 mars a été une journée internationale qui leur est dédiée. C'est une journée pendant laquelle ils doivent réfléchir, ils doivent organiser des séances de réflexion sur leur vie, sur leurs droits et sur ce qu'ils attendent des États réellement. Même s'il faut le clarifier, l'État ne peut pas tout faire en matière de respect des droits des femmes. Aujourd'hui, nous avons des organisations de la société civile. C'est eux qui sont à la base. C'est eux qui peuvent faire le véritable travail pour émanciper ces femmes, pour aider ces femmes-là à sortir de l'ornière, pour aider ces femmes-là à se valoriser, hein, à ne pas accepter, à ne pas se complexer, parce qu'il y a un certain complexe d'infériorité qui anime la femme lorsqu'elle est en manque de connaissances, lorsqu'elle a des tares. Et donc, il faut jouer dans ce cadre-là sur la formation de la femme. Lorsqu'une femme est bien formée, c'est une femme, c'est une éducatrice, non seulement du côté de ses collègues si elle travaille, mais aussi du côté de sa famille. Donc, il faut jouer sur la formation de la femme. La femme doit franchement avoir une formation de qualité pour pouvoir former d'autres jeunes filles ou bien d'autres femmes de son milieu. C'est très important. Maintenant, du pouvoir, par exemple, lorsqu'on parle du pouvoir de la femme n'acquérera le pouvoir que lorsque elle est capable de... Est-ce que je peux aider les autres femmes? Lorsqu'elle est capable de ces genres d'interrogations, elle peut trouver facilement des stratégies pouvant l'aider à aller vers d'autres femmes et puis à les aider à s'émanciper, à les aider à reconnaître leur valeur d'être femme, parce que la femme, c'est une valeur sûre, en dépit de tout ce que en dépit de tout ce que les stéréotypes nous enseignent, en dépit de tous ces clichés, en dépit de toutes ces coutumes qui nous enseignent parfois que la femme est une personne inférieure, mais elle reste une personne valeureuse dans la société. Et personne ne pourra aider ces femmes-là si ce n'est elles-mêmes. Et ça passe par la formation, ça passe par l'acquisition du pouvoir, ça passe par leur autonomisation. Et puisque l'autonomisation est la pièce maîtresse pour l'émancipation de la femme, lorsqu'elle est indépendante, elle est autonome financièrement, je pense qu'aucun autre pouvoir ne pourra s'exercer sur elle. Elle restera une personne, une femme émancipée, une femme de valeur, une femme pouvant aider les autres femmes aussi à acquérir le pouvoir. Parce qu'il est important aujourd'hui dans nos États. C'est ceux qui ont le pouvoir qui dirigent, c'est ceux qui ont le pouvoir qui font des lois, qui les font marcher si c'est dans leurs intérêts. Et donc, si la femme a le pouvoir, si elle acquiert un peu de pouvoir, vous verrez ce que ça donnera dans le développement économique, socio-économique même et culturel, pourquoi pas, de toute la communauté. Donc, il est important aujourd'hui que pendant les fêtes, que les femmes puissent prendre conscience de leur rôle indispensable dans la société, à conscientiser les autres par rapport à sa situation, elle, femme. Elle a un rôle de conscientisation. Il faut qu'elle puisse reconnaître, il faut qu'elle puisse dire aux autres femmes, soyons conscients, si nous sommes déjà à la tâche, il faut qu'on amène d'autres aussi à nous suivre dans notre rôle de femmes émancipées. Jusque-là, donc, je vais m'arrêter parce que je pense avoir écoulé mes 10 minutes et je vous remercie et je souhaite très bonne fête de 8 mars à toutes les femmes guinéennes, aux Africaines et au monde entier en général.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Madam Hadija Fatoumata Binta Keita, for that presentation. You talked about going beyond dances and songs. I particularly like that. Yes, we want to celebrate women, but we should go beyond dances and songs. You also mentioned the importance of the school, the role of the school in ensuring that young girls are also educated in terms of understanding the gender biases, not only focusing on women, but also ensuring that the young girls are also on board. You talked also about reaching out to the most marginalized women who may be out there and may not experience the celebrations that we are having today, marking the days that we are having. But I'm so glad that as a network as FAWE has extended their wings to reach out to 33 countries and 34 national chapters, where each chapter today has done tremendous work. I would like to congratulate any FAWE chapter that has joined in. They've done tremendous work to ensure that in the communities, in the schools that we work with, we reach the most marginalized women and talk to them, have conversations, dialogue around breaking the biases, breaking the biases. Thank you so much. We are going to move on to our next presenter, a student. So excited that our conversation today has gone beyond looking at us as adult women, but have also included the young people in the discussion. So today we are going to listen also to a student from Mali, Aminate Karembe, who is also going to give us her view about International Women's Day, breaking the bias being our theme for today. Over to you, Aminate.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Aminata Karambe, je suis élève au groupe scolaire de Sabalibougou 1, en classe de 9e année. Sabalibougou est un quartier populaire de Bamako, au Mali. Je suis très heureuse de participer à cette conférence. Le 8 mars, pour moi, est une journée spéciale internationale qui met en avant la lutte pour les droits des femmes, particulièrement la réduction des inégalités par rapport aux hommes. Au Mali, le 8 mars a permis l'émancipation de la femme. Grâce au 8 mars et particulièrement à Fawe Mali, aujourd'hui, on a des femmes désarmées. Dans la médecine, dans la maçonnerie, dans l'électricité, dans la mécanique, et même des femmes pompistes dans les stations d'essence. En plus, nous avons aussi beaucoup de femmes milliardaires et entrepreneurs. Enfin, on a obtenu l'adoption d'une loi donnant 30% aux femmes dans les postes électifs nominatifs. Je voudrais parler ici de grossesse en milieu scolaire qui empêche les filles de continuer les études. Ces filles sont souvent chassées de la maison et les auteurs de ces grossesses refusant de connaître ces grossesses. Alors, elles sont libres à la main. Avec un groupe de filles, on a mené des actions pour comprendre. On rencontre des parents compréhensibles. D'autres ne voulons pas comprendre au niveau des filles. On les a fait comprendre qu'elles pouvaient continuer les études malgré leur retard. Certains nous ont dit qu'elles ne maîtrisant pas les méthodes contraceptives. Comme exemple, Djenaba qui avait arrêté les cours commençait à venir en classe. Aujourd'hui, avec la crise multidimensionnelle que traverse le Mali, je demande une attention particulièrement des autorités de la transition à l'endroit des filles et des femmes qui sont les premières victimes. Enfin, bonne fête de 8 mars à toutes les femmes du monde et du Mali. En particulièrement, je vous remercie.
Thank you so much, Aminante Karembe, our student, who gave us the presentation and particularly made emphasis around re-entry and continuing with education for girls that fall pregnant. Thank you so much. A very critical point to talk about on this very special day, the International Women's Day, recognizing the importance of the continuation of girls with school. We are continuing with our dialogue with our panelists. Today, FAWE has brought us together to commemorate, to celebrate, to mark the International Women's Day 2022. And we are people from different countries gathered here today to have these discussions. As I highlighted earlier, at the very end of our panelists' presentations, we are going to have a question and answer session. And together with my colleague, Dr. Terry Kingundu, we are going to lead us all in a question and answer segment. So please, if you have any question, if you have even any positive feedback for our panelists, please just type in the chat box or just reserve your comment. Then you can also contribute at the very end. We are approaching the end of our panelists' presentations. We are left with two panelists So we are going to move on to the next presenter, who is Pamela Koreigwe, the Senior Program Manager for LEDAP, which is in Nigeria. Over to you, Pamela. You have 10 minutes to give us your presentation.
Good afternoon to the amazing women and girls and gentlemen in our midst. It gives me great pleasure to be here with you all, across the region to celebrate International Women's Day. I don't know, tech team, is it possible for my video to be up? But if it's not possible, that's fine. I'll move on. So for me, today is a great day to celebrate the achievements of past and present women breaking the glass ceilings in all spheres of life in order to advance the rights of women in the world. So the key question here is, how is Pamela breaking the bias within her sphere of influence? So let me start by introducing myself again. My name is Pamela Koreigwe, and I'm the program manager with Legal Defense and Assistance Project, LEDAP. So as a legal practitioner, I'm constantly using the law to create social change and break the bias of gender discrimination in Nigeria. So for this conversation, I will just focus on how I'm breaking the bias of gender inequality around education and political leadership. The importance of education, especially to the girl child, is of no news to us here. With the support of the Malala Fund, I'm currently engaging policymakers and state officials to implement the right to basic education, basic quality and compulsory education in states in Nigeria. And then also for the government to allocate more funding to education, because we've seen that there's also lack of political will, to allocate more funding to education. Our constitution provides for free basic education for every Nigerian citizen, under Chapter 2 of our constitution. But that the same constitution made that right non-justiciable, by virtue of Section 6. So in 2017, my team and I approached the Federal High Court, to decide on whether the right to basic education is justiciable in Nigeria. Given that our National Assembly actually passed an education law. Well, we got a favorable judgment from the Federal High Court, stating that the right to basic education is a justiciable right in Nigeria. And I'm really happy to say that that just recently, our National Assembly, in their constitutional review process, just passed the bill to alter our constitution to include the right to basic education as a fundamental right in Nigeria. And we are hoping that the State House of Assemblies will also endorse this bill. So what this means is, if your right to basic education is infringed upon, that citizen has the right to go to court and enforce and seek for enforcement of his or her rights. So I'm also raising awareness in communities through paralegals on importance of girl-child education and why no girl should be left behind in, sorry, 1 minute, I just got a message turn on my video. Okay, fantastic. Hope you all can see me now. Okay, so as I was saying, I'm also raising awareness in communities, through our paralegals on the importance of girl-child education and why no girl should be left behind in the pursuit of education. I'm also working alongside with my other Malala Fund education champions in Nigeria to demand for our education laws to be amended, to include the right to free and compulsory basic education up to senior secondary level. We want every girl in Nigeria to have access to 12 years of free, safe, and quality basic education for, in Nigeria. So as regards women political participation, and representation, I'm just returning from a protest organized by women rights activists all over the country. We are very saddened that our National Assembly missed the opportunity to break the bias, of gender exclusion, in the just concluded voting exercise of the constitutional amendments. Our National Assembly recently voted against the 5 gender bills seeking to promote, gender equality in the Nigerian political space. And this is indeed worrisome to all of us. What their actions has shown us is that, they do not realize that gender exclusion is one of the major setbacks, for economic development in our country. If you're looking at our population, women constitute 50% of the country's population, and therefore, we deserve a seat to participate in the political affairs of the country. At the moment, we only have about 6%, less than 6% of women in the political space. So the women are protesting for the National Assembly to reconsider their stance on all the gender bills aimed at increasing women representation in public offices, and to ensure that at least 35%, of the elective and appointment seats are reserved for women in Nigeria. So that's why we're protesting. And so what this means for us is that we want the bias of gender exclusion in political participation to be broken. Finally, you will all agree with me that in order to have more women in politics, we need our girls to be educated. I don't think any country will be able to achieve, sustainable development without having women, without educating their girls. Education is the key factor in building women's capacity in politics and also in public spaces. I strongly believe that our girls will only be able to assert their rights and defend their rights if they are fully aware, of what their rights are. So, to all women of substance in our midst, to everyone, to all the women here, once again, I say Happy International Women's Day. You all are amazing and beautiful. And I want to say that no matter how big your dream is, no matter how your dream may seem to you, just know that it is valid and it is achievable. Once it's achievable, once you set your mind, to it. So please, let's keep doing good and let's stand together, to continue to break the bias of gender inequality and stereotypes in Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pamela. Thank you so much for that presentation. Very clear presentation around the importance of having more women participate in the political space. You also mentioned the role of education, which is quite critical and really fits in well with what the other presenters said around the importance of knowledge, the importance of having information in order to have meaningful participation. We are going to move on to our last panelist, who is Honorable Caroline Agwanda, the Country Government of Kisumu Advisor on People with Disabilities in Kenya. Over to you, Honorable.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Caroline Agwanda. I'm a former member of County Assembly that was representing persons with disabilities. I'm a UN award winner, and I also represent Kenya in the for Women with Disabilities, as well as the Global Women with Disabilities Forum. I also represent East Central Africa. Currently, I'm an advisor to the Governor of Kisumu on issues of women, youth, and persons with disabilities. And I'm also a lawmaker. Since I was a member of County Assembly, I'm a lawmaker and also I would say policy maker, and also things related to do with implementation, law implementations, and what is all about law. As a woman with disability, what has worked for me, one is teamwork and networking with other leaders. That has really built my capacity. And first, allow me to thank FAWE for what it's been doing. FAWE, I think it's the most inclusive organization globally in regards to disability. There is no program that FAWE would run without a person with disability. That is quite commendable because your compliance to the global legal framework, regional legal framework, sustainable development goals, and we really appreciate. We don't take it for granted. We appreciate the FAWE's leadership and the team for realizing this. I would say working closely with disability leadership, I have been mentored with several persons with disabilities who were there before me. Yeah, they took us through the disability rights, and from that time I realized that I'm very potential. So I became a disability rights advocate, attending meetings and articulating issues based on the legal framework. When you raise an issue and you don't have a legal backup, then in the government of today, you'll be like a propagandist or a rumor monger. So what has really helped me is that I've been looking at what are some of the government commitments in regards to persons with disabilities, and looking at the United Nations Convention on Rights of Persons with Disabilities, Article 6, which talks about women and girls. And as they do, women and girls with disabilities, as we talk about women, where is the space for women with disabilities? If I can give an example of the county government that I work with, the county government of Kisumu has employed more women with disabilities compared to men with disabilities. It's not a favor that they've done to women with disabilities, but I think when advertisement is made, people apply, but now you find more women with disability applies. There are several women with disabilities appointed in different committees at the county. This is in regards to Article 54 of the Constitution of Kenya, Clause 2, which says persons with disabilities to be recognized in appointive or elective positions. And I'm also a former politician. I'm also mentoring young women to participate in the political arena, because all these laws are made by politicians. We can't leave space for, we can't sit back as women with disabilities and girls by not participating in politics, and our issues will not be highlighted there. So you find women with disabilities leading different positions at the political parties, which is quite commendable, because we don't want to leave space for men with disabilities to speak on our behalf. We believe nothing for us without us, yeah? And I'm glad to see more women with disabilities coming up strongly to claim for their space rightfully. We no longer go for demonstrations because we do it diplomatically. If it doesn't work that way, then we petition the National Assembly or the County Assembly for an implementation. The other achievement, what has helped me as well, is the political goodwill. For any development, if there is peace and there is political goodwill, then implementation of the policies, the legal frameworks that are there becomes very easy. My governor, who is Professor Peter Nyang'-Nyong'o, the governor of Kisumu, has been very supportive in regards to women issues, in regards to youth, in regards to persons with disabilities, and is committed to see and ensure that implementation of the government commitments based on the global, during the global conferences that the government has committed to do for youth, for persons with disabilities and women is done rightfully. And I can report to this team that Kisumu County has developed a gender mainstreaming policy. Kisumu County is in the process to review the Kisumu County Persons with Disabilities Act, review the Kisumu County Persons with Disabilities Policy, and work on a county disability strategic plan. Kisumu County has also ensured that it implements SDG number 8, whereby persons with disabilities are given opportunity to do business. So for those who are doing business, they are given 2% of the AGPO as stated by the Kenyan AGPO 30% procurement. So every department has a procurement plan to implement that section for persons with disabilities, women and youth. And there is a clear data stating how many people have gotten that, what is their projection, how many do they need to have within a given financial year. There are also persons with disabilities doing small businesses, and they're doing registration with the Department of Directorate of Market, where they'll be allocated their disability, they'll be allocated stalls. In every market, there is a representative of persons with disabilities in their committee, and there are stalls that are left for persons with disabilities based on the number of PWDs who've registered. And that is an ongoing process. The other thing is also making the departments or people understand that it's important to mainstream disability. And this is done through sensitization, disability awareness sensitization to the duty bearers, different departments, and bringing them to speed to understand what are the SDGs related to their department as per disability. So disability, the UN Convention and SDGs, you take them through that, then they do their work plan, and there is a checklist on how to check whether the department is doing the right thing or not. If it's not performing well, then a training is requested and they're taken through that as well. Apart from that, the department has also, the county has also ensured that the number of women with disabilities, also people with disabilities and more so women with disabilities attends public participation, because that's where decisions are made. They make proposals of what they want done for them in every financial year, and it has to come from the grassroots as it moves up. So there are groups of persons with disabilities from the village level, because we have the administration structure from village level, ward level, sub-county, and coming to the county. And this, I've seen it doing well. We are also in the process of taking the county security team to understand the disability etiquette so that we comply to the commitment or the legal framework that are there. So in short, complying to the legal framework that is there has been an achievement. Political goodwill has also been an achievement. Then networking with other disabled person organizations has also been an achievement. And I've also been mentored by other people with disability organizations. Then working closely with our National Council for Persons with Disability has also been a plus. The challenges that have been there, enmity. Some women feel you are doing too much, or since you are doing well, they become jealous of what you do. But I stay focused on what I'm doing because it's guided by law. I also look at, we've also been trained on conflict management. Yeah, how do you handle conflict? And I now what have also always helped me is that I don't divert on side shows. Whether you call me names, you do what, I will stay focused to where I'm going to the last destination. It's my plea to you to keep working hard. We are not yet there as a team. Persons with disabilities are human beings. As we respect human rights, let us also respect women with disabilities rights and protect them from any discrimination, gender-based violence in our respective areas. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Honorable Caroline. And thank you for recognizing the role of FAWE in ensuring that inclusion is a tenet. Inclusion is something that is recognized in everything that we do. And that's what FAWE does. In its chapters, in its work, we ensure that there is inclusion, not only of persons with disabilities, but every other marginalized group is also represented.
Thank you.
The word focus, you mentioned it again, and it has been coming throughout the 6 panelists' presentations, focusing and not diverting. We want to congratulate also the County Government of Kisumu for all the appointments that they've done for women in different positions and the provisions that you mentioned in the Constitution, and also the deliberate efforts to ensure that women participate. Thank you so much, Honorable Caroline. We have come to the end of the 6 presentations that we had. Participants, I'm sure you've managed to follow through. We are going to move on to another session. As I mentioned earlier, my colleague, Dr. Terry Kigudu, is also co-moderating with me, and she's going to take us through a short session on brief interaction using the Slido quiz. Just before I hand over to you, Terry, just want to appreciate that we had a panel that had different experts, women from different backgrounds, women from different expertise. We heard from Honorable Caroline, disability experts, really pushing for participation of women. We also heard from Pamela, a legal practitioner. We heard from Aminette. Aminette, are you quickly, could you put your video on? We just want to see where Aminette is on this International Women's Day. As she's putting on your video, we also heard from Nakanjalo Elizabeth, the senior tutor from the academic registrar. We also heard from Madam Hadija Fatumata Binta Keita. Madam Hadija, are you able also to put on your video quickly as we as I round off? And then we also heard from Professor Enala Mwase, the Zambia board representative. And so it was a panel with different experts. I just wanted us to also watch what where Aminate Karembe is. She's also benefited from one of our interventions, the Tuseme model. Tuseme simply means speak out. It's a Kiswahili word for speak out. I also wanted Madam Hadija Fatumata to just put, she's in a workshop on gender responsive pedagogy, which FAWE is also pushing for. Just wanted to also them to show us where they are. As we do that, I'm going to hand over to my colleague as we also just see the videos. So over to you, Dr. Terry Kigudu.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ridia. That was excellent. To all our panelists, thank you so much. The summary has already been done, and I want to believe that we have been able to capture best practices. We have been inspired. We have picked up some key lessons from each one of them. And every time any individual, and in this matter or case, a woman shares their life experience with us, then of course we should be able to learn something, or we should have learned something and picked up something. And as Lydia mentioned, focus came up, passion came up, purpose came up, going for what you believe in, believing in yourself, looking from the inside and seeing what is it that I can offer to the world. So thank you so much, our panelists, for that. In the next 3-4 minutes, we want to ask Stella to take us to the Slido quiz, where we'll be asking ourselves, what would be a perfect world look like to you? We are celebrating the International Women's Day. How, what kind of the world do you want to see for Africa, for your own country, and generally globally? What kind of a life or world do you want to look at? Then immediately after that, we will take the next 15 minutes to have our questions and answer session. Kindly still make use of the chat box. If you have any question, you can use the chat box. But after this short quiz, we should also be able to give you an opportunity to just pick up, and so that we can be able to respond to any of your questions, any of your inputs, particularly now while our panelist is still with us. Stella, please take us to the quiz.
Okay, as I'm not sure if any new people have joined us, and I So if you can just go back to the quiz we had. I'm speaking through here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Stella. Perhaps you can repost it.
Okay, let me repost it. But for those who had already joined the quiz, let me just share the link again. Okay, you can click on the link and you respond to the question. So imagine that we have broken all biases. What will a perfect world look like to you without any biases? And as we do that, I have an announcement. So just click on the link and answer the question. I have an announcement so that we can be able to take photos of everybody. We will switch everybody into panelist mode during this time. So if you see a request popping up to us, just accept it and you'll be able to switch on your video after that. We also have, we've been having some trainings going on in Guinea and Mali and somewhere else, and Gabon. And we have participants who joined us via link. So after this, when the videos are on, we'll be able to see the participants from the 3 trainings, and they can, just wave and say hello. And then towards the end of the session, we will take a screenshot of everyone. So we'll ask everybody to have your video on. So let me see if I can see any responses from Slido of what your perfect world would be like. Okay, I can see a few. Let me share my screen.
Stella, can I come in, please?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
I realize that we don't make a full sentence. It just allows so many signs. So you may not have, some inputs may not make sense just because we are unable of writing a full sentence.
Okay. And maybe, Hure, I'll give you an opportunity to just talk about who are in the trainings and which countries they are in.
You just give me the green light.
Okay, we can give this poll a minute or two, and then you can go. You can speak after that. Okay, I can see empowerment. I can see inclusive is huge. Overcomers, au chômage de qualité, d'égalité, be inclusive. Life without capitalism, adaptive, free of gender bias and stereotypes. Give women a chance to lead, accommodative to all. We have such beautiful dreams, overcomers, safety. I think in Kenya, the issue of safety came up this week very clearly. Equal participation, women should be respected. Free from gender bias. These are such amazing dreams. Accommodative to all, world with equity of resources. Safety, again, accommodative. I think that if we all, I want to pray that when I want to say my daughters, but I don't have any. When my son is a man, his children will have this kind of life, and that in our lifetime they will have achieved all this. We will have achieved all this. So let me give it a few more seconds if anyone else wants to participate. We'll post this on Twitter and our social media pages, so they'll be up. Thank you all for participating, and I'll ask Hure, she's our West Africa region coordinator, to just give us a brief on who is joining us from West Africa. Thanks, Hure.
Sure, merci beaucoup. Has the video been enabled for Guinea, Madame Conte, and for Aminata in Mali?
they could not switch on. It was disabled. Good day, everybody. Thank you so very much for having joined in. I'm speaking to you from Libreville in Gabon. You've heard Aminata, who's based in Mali, who just underwent a Tuseme training. Lydia has already explained what it is. We've also heard from Madame Keita, who is undergoing right now a gender responsive pedagogy training. This is under an initiative called IPEPA, which is being funded by the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And bottom line is to develop transformation leadership capacity and skills for female teachers. And we are trying to set up a network of female teachers, of women in public life, be it politics, be it media, be it trade unions, in a very transpartisan and trans-corporatist way, so that we can all together help each other, mentor each other to develop our leadership skills. So mentorship, etc. So that's what the project is about. And the two ladies you've just heard are just now undergoing those kinds of trainings to be able to develop their agency, their voice, and their leadership. So I don't know if they are able to turn in. Madame Conté, est-ce que vous pouvez actionner votre vidéo juste pour 2 ou 3 secondes pour nous montrer la salle? Aminata également. Si ça n'est pas le cas, merci infiniment pour votre participation. Over to you, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ule, and thank you, Stella, for that. The poll was, of course, very good. And it looks like a very perfect world, that Africa that we are looking into. We all have a responsibility in all our spheres of influence. Let's try as much as we can to enhance gender equality in every space that we find ourselves in. Let's take personal responsibility and do whatever it is that we can be able to do. It's now an opportunity for us to pick up some questions, some comments, some insights from you, all the participants. Please feel free to raise up your hand and speak to us. You can as well post it on the chat and we should be able to pick it up. The floor is all ours now in the next 10 or so minutes. We are still working towards closing at about 4 p.m. East African time. Remember, of course, we are here to celebrate the International Day of Women, and our host is Fawe. Congratulations, Fawe, for what you're doing across Africa. Always exciting to hear the great works that you are doing across different countries in Africa. I skip the chat comment. I see a hand up. Rachel, you can go ahead. Rachel Magege, kindly go ahead.
Yes, Terry, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. But before I speak, I think Aminata had her hand before me. I don't know if she's spoken already. Her hand is still up. I wouldn't want to take her chance if she wanted to say something.
Thank you, Rachel, for that. Aminata, please go ahead. Your hand is up. Aminata, are you there? Kindly unmute. Thank you, Rachel. Please go ahead. I will get back to Aminata when she's ready.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Let me just start saying that I am so honored. I am so happy to have been a part of this session. It is a pleasure. Thank you for having me as a participant, and thank you to the amazing, amazing panelists. It was very insightful, very eye-opening. Mine is just to make a small contribution and maybe just offer food for thought to all of us who are in here. First of all, once again, happy International Women's Day to all women all over the world. And thank you also to our male partners, our male allies. It is so wonderful to be walking this walk with all of you. With all the discussions that we had today on breaking the bias and on breaking gender stereotypes, I would just like to challenge each and every one of us and make this a call to all of us, especially to parents, regarding how we raise our children, especially our male children. We know that in this movement for gender equality, most of the harassment and the negative things tend to happen towards women, even though we do not disregard that men and even young boys in one example or another do face some type of whether it's sexual harassment, whether it's some type of mental and psychological harassment, also in one way or another. We do know that young boys also face this. So my challenge is to all the women out there, the men and even the parents, that if we are working and if we are very serious about breaking down the bias and the stereotypes with education, yes, it is very important. And I know this was mentioned earlier, education in the school system, but I also think we can do and place a very, very big impact in our homes, in our families. For example, if we look at how mothers and fathers talk to their children, talk to their young boys, if you start telling them from a young age that as a young boy, this is how you're supposed to girls, this is how you're supposed to talk about girls, this is how you should respect women. We know that because of the patriarchy, the patriarchal system that we have in many of our African societies. I come from Tanzania and I know patriarchy is very, very strong here. That can also be used in one way or another to our advantage, because we know that men tend to hold a lot of power and a lot of influence in many things. So if we start teaching these young boys from a young age that, you know, as you grow older, society will look at you to make so many decisions in a way that it doesn't look at women, that can also serve to help in this movement and in this fight for gender equality, that they will always be conscious, they will always be sober-minded about the challenges and the harassment that women and young girls face. And they can even use their power and their position of influence to help protect these women, to help protect these young girls, and to help protect their sisters and aunties and female neighbors. So I really, really appreciate everything that was discussed today. And I really hope that we can continue to learn from each other, to network and to take care of each other, and let us educate our young boys. Let us start talking to these young boys from a very young age, so that they grow up, and even when they take a position of power as a minister, as a prime minister, as a president, they already have that background instilled in them from a very young age. So thank you all very, very much, and welcome to Tanzania.
Thank you so much, Lecho, for that. I think it's a call to action. Let's reflect, let's re-strategize on the way we are doing parenting in the 21st century. It starts with the family as the first social unit of socialization. Let's say also particular to the boy child, let's use the most transformational approaches as possible. Of course, speaking to gender equalities throughout the phases of growth and development. And of course, that will bring up the light men and women that we want to see in the Africa that we want. Thank you. Aminata, I see your ad is up. Please go ahead. Aminata, are you there? Well, as she gets, or perhaps the ad was up a while ago. Any other ad that is up, please feel free to speak to us. We still have a minute or two. I'm still reading on the comments. Happy International Women's Day to all. Together we can break the bias. Thank you. That is from who, yeah? Then we see Happy International Women's Day. Oh yes, parenting plays a great role. Grace, your hand is up. Grace, is your hand up? All right, any other hand that is up? Keep the comments coming, and if you have any question, please don't let us or any of the panelists to walk away. Always take and maximize and optimize the opportunities that FAWE has given us. And we remain truly grateful to FAWE for hosting us during this Women International Day celebration, the year 2022.
Terry, Grace says that she cannot be able to open her video, and she's a deaf lady here. Maybe somebody can help her.
All right, thank you for that. Stella and Tim, would you be able to do something on that?
Yes, we are trying to make everybody a panelist so that they can be able to share their video. So we'll send you a request to join the panel. Please accept it, don't reject it. Then you'll be able to share your screen, your video, and you'll be able to mute and unmute yourself.
Thank you for that. Let's see if we can be able to catch up with Grace now.
She can even write the question on the chat if it's not possible.
Yeah, that's the other option. Ifrin says, grant to be part of this conversation. I'm glad that women are making great strides in our various countries. I strongly agree with you. Grace is there now. Let's give her a chance.
And continue. I see you.
Jockey, are we on?
Yes, we are on.
Okay.
I don't know whether she can see me. Well, I think she's wondering who is interpreting for her, which is me. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, everyone. Happy International Women's Day to you all, the important women who are in this forum today. I'll not talk much, but I would want to just request a humble, do a humble request to just so for the next time, maybe when you are inviting us and you have an opportunity there, maybe you can also invite the deaf participants who are there. You make it a bit accessible, and also for the communication with the interpreter. So making the information accessible. Because I think I have been missing the interpreter. It has been difficult for me to get the access to the interpretation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Grace and Jockey, for that. From the FAWE team, we have taken note on that. Kindly accept our apologies. We will be better next time. And thank you for always being part of us. So I think we are coming to, yes, please.
I was just going to say that I think sometimes we don't understand the challenges that people with disabilities have. And this is one way that, we need to be clearer. So I think Grace and Caroline, after this session, we need to talk and see how can we as FAWE make our webinars more inclusive. So thank you, Grace, for your sessions, for your comments, and we will definitely reach out to you immediately after this, and we can see how to make it better. for you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. At FIRE, we are very inclusive, as it was mentioned earlier on, and we also have feedback because we are always improving the programs so that we remain as best as we can within Africa as a continent. Share the recordings, just a few comments here. Happy International Women's Day. Together we can break the biases and the barriers. Very, very true. So unless if there is any question, which I do not see any add up, I wish now to thank you so very much for listening to us and of course for your interactions, the deliberations that you have been able to make here, the discussions. The webinar, I believe, has been worth your time. And we thank you, of course, for just turning up, showing up. It's also one thing that women need to learn to do. Show up anytime you're given an opportunity. Show up anytime an opportunity comes your way. That's the only way then you can be able to get into this discourse, change the narratives of the biases and gender inequalities that we have been speaking to throughout this particular session. I wish now to hand over the program back to Lydia to do the closure, but perhaps before Lydia does the closure, to the FAWE team, if there is any announcements or any housekeeping that they would want to say at this particular time, then Lydia will be able to close for us as a representative of FAWE team. Thank you so much.
Dr. I have something.
Yes, please.
I would humbly request that FAWE implements the Global Disability Summit 2022 resolution because it works in Africa and there are global commitments that different countries made. So if they can organize for a meeting for those countries that participated and see how the implementation of that be done based on a commitment of inclusive education, I think that would be great. Then secondly is also to consider seeing the implementation of the African Charter on Humanity and People with Disabilities Rights, as has been ratified by other countries. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Caroline, Stella, and the rest of the team. I believe that you've been able to capture those concerns. And for us, is just to assure you that on behalf of the participants here and elsewhere, we'd always be be happy to participate in such forums so that we can all be able to move forward together. Thank you, Honorable, for that. Stella, back to you. Then you can hand over the program to Lydia to make the final closing remarks. Thank you.
I think I'll just go straight to hand over to Lydia. But before she does that, we are still just trying to get everyone on the panel. So when we are done, we can take a photo together. So if possible, please, let's try and do that now. If you can switch on your video for a minute. There are people who are still not able to access because they are not accepting our request to be panelists.
Please accept the request that has been sent so that we can also have some memories for the 2022 International Women's Day hosted by FAWE. Kindly accept that request so that you can be able to document.
Okay. Please resend. It is saying that it's been disabled by the host.
Okay, I'm just doing that.
All right, thanks.
Then let's switch on our videos. I think there's about 5 or 6 people who are still not able to join.
Yeah.
But with the rest, we shall switch on our videos, see who's in the room. I can see happy, smiley faces. In case we've done what we can from our side, so if you just have to, it's either if you're not able to switch on your video, it's an issue with your machine, because we have really tried to get everyone on video. But thank you for joining. I can see a lot of videos are not on.
The host has not permitted people.
Oh. Hey, there. I think okay, I've been requested to ask everybody to smile. Some of you are looking too serious. Okay, 3, 2, 1. There's that one picture that's been taken. All right, thank you. As we exit the program, we'll be playing a video that has just been done by our communications team that is on breaking the bias. So as you, after the vote of thanks, you can hang around for a minute or two to listen to the video and then exit. But over to you, Lydia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to all of us on this 2022 International Women's Day. The perfect world is a world where gender biases no longer exist. And this is our theme for this year. We once again, as FAWE, want to thank each panelist for their generosity in sharing with us their experiences and stories. We want to appreciate you by your name. Thank you, Professor Enala Mwase. Thank you, Madam Hadija Fatumata Binta Keita. Thank you, Ms. Nakanjalo Elizabeth. Thanks to you, Aminate Karembe, our student. Thank you, Pamela Orokwe. Thank you, Honorable Caroline Angwanda. I would also want, on behalf of FAWE, to say it is quite clear that we have more women to learn from. I think our panel has showed us that there is a lot there in terms of knowledge and wisdom that we can learn and that is transferable across countries. I also want to thank our Executive Director for FAWE, Martha Muwezi, who could not join us but was with us in spirit. I also want to thank our Deputy Executive Director, Teresa Otieno, who was with us for a while and had to attend to other competing priorities. I also want to thank the FAWE RS team for coordinating and putting these International Women's Day celebrations together. Lastly, I would like to thank all of us, the participants on this FAWE International Women's Day 2022 commemorations. Thank you so much for being part of these celebrations for the past 2 hours. To all people who have not been thanked, I thank you on behalf of FAWE. To my colleague, Dr. Terry Kigudu, thank you so much for being a good moderator. Happy International Women's Day to all of us. Over to you, FAWE RS team.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining. Yes, just trying to connect to our video, and but in the meantime, we really appreciate everybody who came, and happy International Women's Day. And I hope that next year we will have seen a lot more progress in breaking the gender bias. And we appreciate everyone and what you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
International Women's Day, we need to break the bias.
We started in 1975, the International Women's Year, when things have not been the same.
There is a lot of improvement. Yes, there are great opportunities that we can eliminate the barriers that women are encountering.
Many positives have occurred. We've had many girls in school, we've had many women in very important positions of authority, we've had men gaining confidence in themselves. But having said all of that, we also know that we have a long way to go.
We need to break the bias of cultural paradigms that stifle the inhibition of women striving. And we need to do this by making sure that women get the right kind of education, our daughters, they get the right kind of education.
So that then we train more women, we put them out there when they are trained, when they are ready for the political field.
Maybe the upcoming elections of 2024, we can see our women increasing in number, in percentage, that they can also be councillors and
International Women's Day, we need to break the bias.
We started in 1975, the International Women's Year, when things have not been the same.
there is a lot of improvement. Yes, there are great opportunities that we can eliminate the barriers that women are encountering.
Many positives have occurred. We've had many girls in school, we've had many women in very important positions of authority, we've had men gaining confidence in themselves. But having said all of that, we also know that we have a long way to go.
We need to break the bias of cultural paradigms that stifle the inhibition of women striving to be empowered, to be capacitated. And we need to do this by making sure that women get the right kind of education, our daughters, they get the right kind of education.
So that then we train more women, we put them out there when they are trained, when they are ready for the political field.
Maybe the upcoming elections of 2024, we can see our women increasing in number, in percentage, that they can also be councillors and they can be members of parliament.
And the only way to do is to have a paradigm shift. Once we have a paradigm shift, Africa will be great, the future will be great. Because if you educate a woman, you educate a nation. Thank you very much. Don't forget, break the bias.
We must all move forward as a group. Break the barriers, move forward, make positive changes in our society. Congratulations to everybody. Happy Women's Day.
It is time to break the bias.
Break the bias and breaking the bias.
Thank you, everybody. We'll be closing the meeting now and have a wonderful evening.
Oh, you said that we remain behind.
Thank you, everybody. We'll be closing the meeting now and have a wonderful evening, and thank you for joining us.
Excuse me, you said Caroline